Hey YouTube, coming at you with a double grass fossil cup team. The team did about 500-ish. I'm going to do like a roundup because I don't know why this league is on again next week with Ultra League. So I'm going to do on Thursday kind of like a wrap up because it seems like the meta is very limited, but my team this morning I still think is one of the best ones. I think there are other Pokemon that I'm going to maybe try and showcase over the next little bit that do have play in this, but for the most part, it just seems like there's like 10, 12 Pokemon that are just very, very strong in this meta. Um, so I tried ABB with Shadow Mawile, Ludicolo, and Ferrothorn. Double grass in the back. I figured there's not a ton that grass in itself has problems with, right? There's like Ferrothorn's biggest problem is pure steals like Registeel and Berserker and stuff like that. And then Mawile as the fire, I mean, it's a steel anyways, right? So that's the biggest issue for that. Ludicolo being half water kind of is kind of sort of a weird one because it neutralizes the fire, but also makes you now neutral to electric. So Lantern's not as amazing as like Ferrothorn against that. Ferrothorn I still think is one of the best in this meta. Again, I mentioned it, like the steals are an issue, but outside of that, just being able, this power up is such a hard hitting move. Plus Thunder for those steals makes it just so easy for you to deal with. Shadow Mawile is an interesting one. It was one of those things where it's like there's so many mud boys for starters, which is like not great. So there's mud boys, there's Pelipper. There's just like a lot of water, and it's not surprising given what I said about in my team makeup. There's rock, which is weak to fire, which is weak to water, and then there's steel, which is weak to like ground, and like steel, water is resisted by steel and stuff like that, right? So it just seems like water was always going to roam free in this meta. So with so many water, Shadow Mawile is like an interesting one. It just like when you get it on a Ferrothorn, it just Ferrothorn, sandslash, stuff like that. Those are the double weak to fire. You just rip through them. But then you get in like Pelipper situation like this, and then you're just like you have nowhere to go, right? So Lost League coming here. Pelipper I think is one of those. Lucario, I throw Thunder here because I'm like maybe it'll take it in. Lucario is so glassy. It does not. So just go double Power Whip because that is the best option as opposed to just doing that. And having to throw a Power Whip anyways. I think if I was going to choose, this is why I think my team this morning is like one of the best ones, because I think Quagsire, Pelipper, and Ferrothorn are probably three of the best in this meta. I'm going to try Skarmory because, again, like you really only need to watch out for Lantern, but then you add like all the resistances of all these grass. So I think Skarmory is going to have some play in this meta. I tried Swampert, but I honestly think like Quag just has way better coverage. Ludicolo is fine. It's great if you get it on a Razor Leafer, but like against other grass, plus like Pelipper just being able to do super effective wing attack and all the flare, like I just don't think it's amazing. Like it's great if you can get it in this situation here, right? Like a Razor Leafer. But still, they're still going to land a Thunderbolt and take me out. So it's not amazing. Yeah, so those are like my top three-ish. Those are my top three for sure. My three from this morning are my top three overall. I think I want to run with an A Sandslash lineup. I think that is probably a very strong Pokemon. I think Ferrothorn is... Again, I think Ferrothorn is one of the best. I want to run a Sandslash, which means if you can't really run Ferrothorn with that because then you're double weak too, unless you're running like an ABB style team. I have not tried Lucario yet. I'm interested in trying Lucario. Like I said, I want to try Skarmory. I want to try Lucario. I want to try a Sandslash. So there's a few I want to try. Can't really try that team because all three of those would get lit up by Firefang Mawile. That's the thing, right? Like it has... Mawile has potential, but there's just so many waters in this. The Swampert, Quagsire, Pelipper as a flyer. Let's see. I want to see if there's something in pvpoke's top 20 rankings that I'm just like, I have not used this yet. I should try and use this. I tried Registeel in one. Where are Fossil Cup? Kartana as a Razor Leafer is interesting. Can you even get a Kartana below 1500? I don't even know if you can. Maybe you have to trade it. I think it's why it's better is it probably has a higher attack stat than Ludicolo, and Leaf Blade, Night Slash are definitely quicker to get to than Leaf Storm and Ice Beam. So that's probably why it's ranked higher. So if you have one of those, use that over Ludicolo, but I doubt that you do. Again, Swampert's ranked high, so Ludicolo is at 8. Yes, Lucario I haven't tried yet. Registeel I tried. Oh, Shadow at 7. I tried having Escav. Escav's an interesting one. I've run into it a couple times, and it's one of those Pokemon where it's like, obviously if you get it against like a Ferrothorn or something like that, it's great. If you get it against Pelipper, it sucks. And if you get it against the Mud Boys, it's like a neutralish but bad situation. So that is another one I could try. Like I said, I already I tried Berserker. It was fine. Just between the Mud Boys and stuff like that, it's just like, it's kind of rough. Airquinette, I don't think there's a point to run because you are going to lose. Well, you'll beat the Mud Boys, but you're going to lose to Pelipper and Lantern and stuff like that. And that's just kind of, there's a lot of that. Lantern, a lot of people are using Lantern because a lot of people are using Pelipper. And even against the Mud Boys, you can still do okay with Lantern. You're going to lose, but you can do okay there. That is one I want to try. That's that Poliwrath. Poliwrath was going to be on my team tomorrow to try, because it has, you're weak to Flyer, which is fine, but you have Dynamic Punch, which is great for so many of these Pokemon. Ferrothorn, like anything in neutral situations, but then you just get walled by a couple things like Jellicent. This is the Shadow version too. What's the non-Shadow Poliwrath? And I know people don't want to build a Poliwrath now because they're just saving it for the community. So it has an 8-16 record, the non-Shadow. Yeah, it looks like you actually lose all. It looks like if you had the Shadow, you'd flip a lot of these matchups, but you actually lose a lot with the non-Shadow. So maybe that's something right. And then Credilli is one of those. Credilli in the 20th. That rock typing like really hurt. Like I said, rock sucks in this meta. Weak to grass and weak to water. And so that rock typing with that grass just makes it weaker to everything. Like, just instead of it just being a pure grass and resisting the ground, you're now neutral to ground because of that. Instead of resisting the grass, you're now neutral to grass. So it's just like, it's tough to put in. And then Galisopod. Galisopod is one I tried. It did not work. I want to give it another shot. I think Galisopod has a lot of play. Obviously, its main weaknesses is going to be Lantern as the electric and Pelipper as a flyer, because you can't really throw anything at it. But a 13-11 record. Good wins against like Swampert and Jellicent, and you're close. That's Water Gun Lantern. You lose to the Quag. You lose to Ferrothorn, which is tough. Ferrothorn and Lantern, right? Ferrothorn and Lanterns are everywhere. And Pelipper, right? So that's the only problem with it. I've tried it, and it was one of those things where it's like, it does good in neutral situations. But it's just like, oh, you can get hard punished pretty quickly in this meta. And that's the problem. That's the meta. It was already ranked 25, and I already went over the top ones. So the problem is it just seems like there's like 10 to 15 Pokemon that work. And so I found the Quagsire, Pelipper, Ferrothorn just kind of like the safest all around. So if I'm going to do another one, I'm probably doing something similar to that. But I am going to try Skarmory, and I'm going to try Skarmory, Escav, and a Sandslash. I think are the 3 I want to try to put a team together. And then we'll just maybe try and do like a top team sort of thing. But that is it. I mean, that's not it. These battles are still going, but come in, snipe. And then there's Great League Open on now. I put a couple good, like, strong Great League teams open. I could just go back to Great League. I really can't believe they're doing this again next week with Ultra League. Did I read that wrong? I'm pretty sure I did not read that wrong. No, Fossil Cup Great League Edition again with Ultra League. That's unfortunate. And when was the... Sorry, now I'm just... Friday, August 11th to Tuesday, August 15th. Friday, August 11th to Tuesday, August 15th. Oh, that's awkward for me. Okay. So it's the Pokemon World Championship event. Celebrate the World Championship Finals with a battle-focused event. Stay tuned for more details as we get closer. 3 times Stardust in all leagues will be active from Friday, August 11th to Tuesday, August 15th. Why I say it's awkward is because on Friday, isn't there like a community? So Friday, I'm driving down for 6 hours. I'm going back. I've got a wedding in Hamilton on the Saturday. So I got to drive all day Friday, which is like 6-7 hours with kids. Saturday's the wedding, so I'm not gonna have time then. Sunday is, I thought it was a community day and we're doing a factions barbecue. When isn't there a community day? Event coming up. I'm gonna do a basically build a Poliwrath, a community day. Basically build a Poliwrath because the Poliwrath is way better than Ice Beam. Ice Beam Politoed is like evenish with Blizzard and same with Earthquake. So there's no real reason to do Ice Beam Politoed, but there is a reason to do counter. There is a reason to do counter Politoed. It makes a huge difference because counter is sort of broken. July 30th. Okay, yeah. So July 30th, so there's 3 community. Why are there so many community days? So we already had Axie Community Day. July 9th was 2 weeks ago. We had that. What was 2 weeks ago? I don't even remember. And then the Poliwrath Politoed is coming on July 30th, and they have not announced the August 13th. Yeah, so the August 13th isn't a thing, right? So drive down on the Friday, wedding on the Saturday, community day, barbecue on the Sunday, and that leaves 2 more days for whatever this championship event is. Hopefully it's not like a go battle. Like, I don't really want to play 100 battles each day, although it helped me get to Legend easier. Anyways, if you're still here, how's it going? How are you doing? That's it. That's the team. I'm going to, like I said, try those other Pokemon. If they work, if I find a team that works with them, I'll showcase them probably Wednesday. Maybe save them next week I'll check my video submissions, see if people have submitted. Otherwise, yeah. Stay tuned for League Tuner of a Thursday. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.